Reitumetse Nkoti Mosae-Mabula, those are my names. And I come from Maseru, Lesotho. And I'm here speaking on behalf of communities who have been affected by this magnificent dam that you see here in front of you. The roads have been opened up and we are able to now travel into the rural highlands of Lesotho without a problem. But there is a problem. So I just, as a background, want to talk about what that project is and what it entails. This is the Lesotho Highlands Water Project, which is a project that's being implemented by the government of South Africa and the government of Lesotho in terms of a treaty that was signed in 1986. Financing for this project is is the sole responsibility of the government of South Africa, especially the component on construction of the dams itself. The project also has a hydropower or hydroelectricity component, which is being financed by Lesotho. And so, as we have been having the discussion earlier, the financing that both governments are using for this project come from the development financiers such as the New Development Bank, the AFDB, World Bank, and others. Much as it has been hailed as good for the economic development of both of our countries, it has had a major impact on communities that are living or hosting the project. When these projects come, we know the first thing that gets affected is the land. Massive land that people there rely on for their livelihoods. We know rural communities, and if that amount of land is going to disappear, then definitely their livelihoods is not even something that we can debate on. It's some of the issues that we see that they as a community have complained and reported to the implementing authority, but nothing has happened, no compensation has been done. One of the things that we have seen is the lack of access to water that these communities face as a result of this project. These are some of the issues that, when this project is spoken about, are never highlighted, and they are happening. And they are just within a walking distance of this massive dam, whose water the project authorities within the villages are able to enjoy freely, but the communities are forced to come to such water points and to have women put 25-liter buckets of water on their heads to just go home and feed their families. Really, the impact that we are seeing on women, and usually when we read papers or any other sort of research, you'll see statements like, when infrastructure projects, women are most impacted by such projects, but we never really know what that looks like or what that really means. I think with many rural areas anywhere in Southern Africa, really, one of the things that women rely upon is wood to cook for families, because there's no electricity there, despite that this project has a hydropower component. I think the problem here is not really that they are forced to fetch wood. The problem is that when the dam comes and it floods the valleys and the gullies, there won't be this source of fuel for them anymore, and there is no electricity. And then we've also had reported cases of sexual exploitation of young women and girls within this project sites, where they are being forced to engage into sex in order to secure employment. The Lesotho Highlands Development Authority has developed compensation policies and compensation rates where they have dictated and not consulted with anybody. They've just dictated the rates to say, for example, a square meter per field is going to cost this much, and the communities nor any civil society organization in the country was able to have any input in that. But that payment right there is 319 Rand 14 cents for a field or a piece of land that someone has inherited from their father, whose father inherited that, a property that has been passed through that families for generations past, a piece of field which they have relied on to grow maize, which is a staple food in the country, beans, which is also a staple in the country. And for them to now be forced to accept this, I'm not even talking about the fact that with us Africans, land has a far more deeper meaning than the economic benefits that we reap out of it. And usually the areas where they are moved, they are not able to have any more access to land for their livelihoods. And so it's an all-round impact that is social, cultural, economic, environmental, and none of us is looking at that. We are just looking at this magnificent dam that has opened up, economic growth for the two countries. Yes, where we get to see some of the reports that your ministers are presenting before Parliament, talking about how great things are progressing with phase 2 of the Lesotho Highlands Water Project, about how communities are being paid the compensation that is due to them. That is not true. That is not true. With phase 1 of this project alone, a project that started in 1986 and that phase was closed in 2004, thousands of people remain today without compensation. And so what they have been reporting before Parliament is not true. And it's said that money is coming, taxpayers' money is coming out of South Africa and going to Lesotho, to the implementing authority, the LHWP, in the pretext that it's actually paying for compensation and looking after the livelihoods of these communities whose backs we are all riding one way or another, directly or indirectly, and it's not getting there. And nobody is asking why are these communities striking. There was I think about 6 months ago a situation where some community members were protesting because electricity had been cut, because water had been cut for months by one of the contractors who was doing work for this implementing authority. And nobody, despite their complaints, despite their chiefs, the principal chief even reporting the issue, nobody was taking action. And people there were made to roll on the ground for lodging that protest by the army. And still we sit people from both sides of the fence, or no fence, because really there's no fence, there's no border between Lesotho and South Africa. And all of us have been sitting and watching that happen and not holding anybody accountable. And I hope today that I've not had an opportunity to speak at such a forum, and I hope that my being here today will bring some sort of change, and that we will begin to see some movement where the implementing authority in Lesotho can be put to account. Where is the South African taxpayers' money going to if it's not compensating people? Thank you.